Now, take the word, and remember, so it seems, the alien was what we refer to in our third dimensional reality, a praying mantis. But he sat there in such a way, with turning his head and stuff, that he was acknowledging us, and all of a sudden, both of us fell into this communication with this little creature, like, oh my God, there's an alien right there. He's from another world. He's oh my God.
Well, we talked to him.
And we
verbally talked to him, and he was just, so go ahead.
And as we talked, he'd take one paw, as we made a point, he'd come up like this. He'd make sure that we saw that he got whatever it was in our voice or vocal cords, he could register a communication thing. So we thought, whoa, that's all there is to it. There's aliens everywhere, so it doesn't matter. Just get acquainted with them. Don't resist them. Don't crush them. A lot of people, they crush them right away before they understand. So the experience wasn't over. We thought it was, but we had to go to we go to a Course of Miracles every Wednesday morning, and we were kind of running close to being late for class. So I said, well, you can stay there if you want. We got to get to class. And we thought, well, that's the end of it, because the wind's going to blow him off. We're going 20 miles to 30 miles an hour. We got to class.
The way Ralph drives probably 40. Go ahead.
We got to class, and the little guy was still there. And we had this
probably about 5 miles.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
And so there was another one involved too.
No,
Okay.
we went to class at 9:30. At 11:30 or quarter to 12, we went out, and he was still there on the back window. So we talked to him again, and we said, well, we're going home now. So we went home and parked the car, and he was still there. So we talked to him again, and then we went in, and we were going to go to the
pool. We belong to the fitness center, so we're going to go get in the pool. And
so he was gone.
He was
came
gone.
out.
So we went to the pool, and when we came out, there was another one in the same spot, a different one, because this one is pink. I've never seen a pink praying mantis.
I said, that's a female, and the other was a male.
So we were having fun, synergizing or energizing with nature, which are aliens. So that's one of our visits.
We've never seen another praying mantis up there. I don't know if they're there. We have never.
Well, it doesn't matter, because it was an experience that we hold sacred now. Because oh yeah, there's little aliens.
But
right?
the little female with the pink a spot of pink traveled home with us, and she was there at the house when we went. We talked to her and went in the house, and then she was gone, and we haven't seen any since then.
And what opened the door of communication was love, because we loved the little guy. He was just doing his thing, and we were doing our thing. And when you're in love, there's no fear. And where there's no fear, we've got deer coming in our front yard in our little garden, our fern garden. I put out bird seed for the birds, but they have to beat the deer, or the birds won't get any bird seed, because the deer come in. They were coming almost every night, and they lick the rock. We put it on a big rock, and they lick the rock, all the bird seed off, and the squirrels. Well, we talk to them, and when I don't feed them, the squirrels will start chirping at me. The blue jays will start yelling at me, and the deer will come and stand with 2 feet away from me and say, "Where's my food?" I mean, they wiggle their little ears. Remember?
Oh, I know. Yeah. We have a mama deer that has been here for 3 years, I guess, and she brings her babies back with her. Now she's pregnant again this year, so.
But it's really so wonderful to use love in everything you do. Just love everything. I mean, no matter what it is. If you spill coffee on yourself, say, "Oh, I love it," because you have an alternative. You can hate it and get mad at yourself and cause a heck of a frustration, or you can just say, "Oh well, better luck next time. Change your shirt and go on and have a good time with it." So it's the way we handle life. It's the way we project our thoughts, our feelings to, we have a choice of fear, which will, oh, you can't say that, you can't do that, because, why? Well, the media says there's no such thing, or it doesn't exist, or you're cuckoo. Well, okay, then you're going to believe the media, you better stay with it until you start believing in yourself. When you start believing in yourself, you can leave the media alone, because that's as far as they want to go, or as far as they know, and go on with your life, which is filled with love instead of fear or doubt. And it's much more comfortable to travel that way. Are there any questions anywhere?
Yeah. Ralph, you were talking about finding the right timing for bringing the technology of your pods out in consciousness. Are you aware there's a group, I think they go by the name of New Earth Project or New Earth Nation, and they've got a website, and they're currently there on each continent, at least one installation, and they have a free energy device, and it's 100% or almost 100% 3D printable. It's called a QT Pi, and they're in negotiation phase right now, but once they pass that phase, they're going to be ready to publish the 3D diagrams. Basically, they're going to be able to pop those out, big time. So maybe this is the year.
I'm glad to hear that, because there's others now that are doing the same thing we're doing, only it's starting to, like mushrooms, grow up and pop up everywhere. So everybody's, aware of, we've got to do this, because we dug ourselves into a hole so deep, the only way out is from the inside, because outside hasn't done any good. The powers that be own everything. Try to do something. I got the military to stop you, or the police to stop you, or the courts, or the medical, or somehow will stop you without you even realizing it. So they have complete control. And that's a good thing if you can look at it with your real eyes, which is up here. It's not these. These are just peepers. But your real eyes are up here in the pineal gland. When you can look at things and see it for what it is, that's your wake-up call. You can see that they have very cleverly surrounded us and got us in a spot where what you going to do now. And the only way to go now is where we're at, is inside. Because outside, they got you. They got you. No matter which way you go, they got you. But inside, they can't touch you. Like the guy with the harpoon, he was ready to shove me, and I said, go ahead. And I was fully willing to take, I could already feel the blow if it was coming. Okay, get ready for this. I mean, I was ready for it, but I knew he couldn't do it. That was that movie I told you about, Next. Take a look at that movie and you'll see what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say, they talk about ascending all the time, but from what I've been told, it's about descending, not ascending. So it kind of talks about, like what you just said about going inside. So,
oh, about descending?
Well, Marsha said, it's about the ascension, but it's not about ascending, it's about descending. Like Christ bringing all the spiritual, wisdom and knowledge and everything, and then was able to be a healer and heal people. But he wasn't about going out of his body, it was about bringing everything into his body. So it's opposite of what we're told. So you're saying the same thing, saying go inside, right? What do you think about that?
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's been, religions and politics will tell you everything under the sun, none of which, maybe, or 90% of it is not true. They think they built this thing called religion on the crucifixion. And really, now, if you start researching on the internet, you'll find that's not the message. The resurrection was the message. That we don't die, we go on forever. We're eternal beings. And Jesus was here to send a message. Hey, you guys, come on, let's play. You guys are going to get duped, and you're going to get deeper and deeper duped, and then they're going to surround you, and you have got no way to go, so you're going to have to come back to your source. And that's what we're doing now. We're in the process of descending or ascending into who we really are, which is we are unlimited, totally unlimited gods. I'm putting it plural, but we're really one God diversified, but it's one. There's not two, there's not either or. There's more, and that's who we are. So I was going to tell you.
And I just want to say too, ascend is knowing that there's just one. It is going there. But we have to raise our consciousness. How do we do that? By knowing who we really are. And we listen to our inner self. We listen to that guidance. You know, some people go on to alcohol and drugs, but that's their inner self wanting them to awaken, and they're using it in the wrong. That awakening is the wrong way. Instead of going into their self and knowing that that's their God or that's their creative abilities, they're going outward.
And the process of ascension is start deleting the ideas of belief system. Belief system is antiquated now because you've got a knowing system, and you know who you are, and you know when you're hungry, you know all those things. Start using that instead of the belief system, and pretty soon the belief system has to disappear because you no longer acknowledge it. You no longer give it energy. It can't exist without your thoughts, without you creating it, without you allowing it. So just think happy thoughts, love everything, and have a ball. I mean, I know it sounds simple, but it really is that simple. Because Marsha and I've been doing it for a long period of time, and we're perfectly happy. But there's one thing I missed. I was getting to the point where we went to the manufacturer, and he turned us down. He said we were outlaws, and he kicked us out. And we got shut down. Well, the next thing I knew, I was inviting, Marsha and I are ex-Knights Templar. We're Knights of the Christ, if you want to call it that, or silent Knights, or whatever, because we pull out of corporate. We don't like structures anymore. We don't like people telling us you have to do this or you have to do that. So we got into the Knights long enough to try and persuade the Knights to get out of fear, because it's a fear-based situation in corporate. People are living in fear. Get out of fear and go to love. Well, it didn't work in the priory that I talked to about a guide soon after. The prior, yeah. But, and that, now I'm off on another tangent. Oh, so we got kicked out. So later,
you got kicked out. Okay.
General Motors didn't want to have anything to do with this, and they told us when we left, you put them up, we'll shoot you down. We don't want you guys around. You guys are trying to disrupt the whole apple cart here. Well, it wasn't until years later when I had a Knights meeting in a very quiet, private place in the middle of the woods down near Santa Barbara, that I met the chief designer from BMW, the car designer. He designed all the cars. And he said, Ralph, I want to talk to you a minute. He says, long story short here, he says, I want to talk to you about your episode that you had with General Motors. I want to fill you in that spaceships are not new to BMW Motor Car Company. In the 1940s in Prague, we were building them. Prague in Germany? No.
Czech.
Czech, yeah. We were building them there with Schaumburger. Schaumburger was there, and Schauberger. And they, the Germans came in and grabbed Schaumburger with his technology and said, we're taking this over, took him and all his ideas to Germany and built spaceships, electromagnetic spaceships, not magnetic, that they could mount weapons on. And they became a weapon machine, the same as the Black Ops have done all around the world when they're building magnetic vehicles, they're the lasers are death machines. They can use lasers through an electromagnetic field, but in a pure magnetic field, lasers are useless. They don't even need to exist. Same as any weapons of any kind.
What do you consider a pure magnetic field? For example?
Gravity.
No,
Was the OTC one a pure magnetic?
no,
Or was
a
it
pure
like-
magnetic field is the air we breathe. It's called the ethers. It is a different form. It's not energy that you can see, touch, taste, or feel. It's beyond. It is an ambient energy, but it's an etheric energy. And the only thing that I can touch you with that might lead you to feel it is magnetism and love are the same thing. They equate to one thing. And magnetism to us is love, because you're magnetically attracted or detracted.
What about electricity?
No. Electricity is antiquated. It's old. It's going to be gone pretty soon. You don't need it. We don't need electricity as 60 cycles that we have now. And what's coming, and these are some of the pods that are working on this, is this energy field where everything is already illuminated. You don't have to worry about lighting or dangers or
When they do all this,
telephone poles.
they do all this with their thoughts?
Huh?
They do all this with their thoughts
Who said you talking?
and their intentions?
Jack.
Oh, Jack.
Oh, I said they do all this with their thoughts and intentions, or?
Do they do all this for love? What you just said?
The illumination, this new technology that you're talking about, magnetism.
Oh, you mean magnetic energy?
Yeah.
Well, you were
magnetic
saying, you were saying you can illuminate
Oh.
this, and I mean, how are they, if they're not using technology, then what are they using, just their thoughts?
No, they're not using thought at all. Well, I
Their
don't
attention.
plus or minus anything. Everything goes on as we desire it, so I'm not canceling anything. But you're using your feelings, and your feelings are a magnetic pulse that's beating it in this environment. 8.7 cycles it was. Now it's changing to infinite cycles per second. That's hertz. That's the speed of the earth, the vibration of the earth. That's,
Schumann's resonance.
Yeah, Schumann frequency's
Schumann
up to 80 right now, it's bouncing around 110.
Very high number.
Well, so you're
They're
basically
questioning
saying
that.
that these people that are doing this have activated their DNA to be able to access this ability, is that what you're saying?
We can
Yeah.
all do that, though.
yeah, and you don't have to call it just DNA. They're activating I want more. They're activating their.
Is there an exercise you can share with us for us to be able to access that more within ourselves?
Yeah, let's see. When you enter an environment, when you wake up in the morning or go to sleep at night or whatever, you're always changing your dimensions instantaneously. We're rapidly changing, seemingly again, our consciousness. We're focused on third dimensional because this is class 101 in planet Earth. That's where we're at. We're going to get through class. But in reality, we're already operating on multiple classes. I mean, every one of us is a part of us, and all we have to do to find out more about us is to talk to somebody else, and you'll see your reflection go deep enough. And that comes from the feeling from the heart. The heart is beating at the same frequency as the earth. 8 point, it's way off the charts now because we've lost our North Pole. It's going to Siberia or whatever. But when you reach that frequency, which is love, when you have the feeling of love, wherever it is, don't let it get away from you. Use that to go to other things. Like when I get working too hard on my computer, my dog will come up and grab me and try and get me off the computer. And when I don't pay attention to that, I'll look into his little eyes and say, Dad, come on, I want to get you off of here. That melts me. That absolute, I can feel the love that he's sharing with me because he knows it's time to go to bed. And I have to respond to that. I don't have to. Like, get away from me, you know, because I used to do that when I was a young kid. But with love, when you respond, say, okay, will you give me 5 more minutes? And sometimes they'll say yes, and sometimes no. But it's okay. It's all okay because I'm feeling that good feeling. Well, that's a magnetic, that is your awareness of a magnetic field, an etheric field that we're experiencing that we don't realize in our conscious world because we're so busy with coffee and donuts and cars and things that we don't take the time to feel it. We don't sense it. We don't feel it. But when you start tuning into that, my dog is the best thing that happened to me because he's teaching me how to get along with her. I mean, it has to be unconditional. You can't condition it because it doesn't work.
I think one of the things, Jack, is that